Hello and welcome, I'm Uday Pratap Singh. Thanks for joining us on NewsX. We are, of course, bringing you once again another special episode of our NewsX Business World panels on the Indian economy. Yes, how do we revive the Indian economy? How do we make the economy Atmanirbhar? How do we support our local brands by going vocal for them? And how long will it really take for the economy and the GDP to bounce back to the path of high growth? We're going to be speaking about all that in the next 1 hour. Joining us a special panel as always. Let me quickly go across the table and introduce them for you. So of course, as always, we're joined by Dr. Anurag Batra, Chairman and Editor-in-Chief of Business World and Exchange for Media. We also have Mr. Vikram Vadhavan, Founder and CEO of Vacitum, joining us live. We have Chandni Sehgal, Celebrity Host and Founder Jack and Jerry and Burger Buzz with us live as well. Swati Sharma, who's an MC, a virtual host, and a mind trainer, is joining us on the broadcast. And Kunal Mahipal, CEO of On-Site Co, will also be joining us very shortly. Welcome all of you. Thank you so much for being with us today. Chandni, let me begin with you first.
Wonderful.
How really have the last few months been like for your work, your businesses, and how have you really tried to cope and survive in these extremely turbulent and tough times?
First of all, thank you for having me here. And it's really a delight to be on board for a panel discussion where there are such eminent personalities and who really are doing a lot to change the world. Starting with the pandemic, I think Corona is something that we all are facing at an every level. Not just the businesses are suffering, but the mental well-being of a person is also getting affected because of the anxiety of what's next going to come. As a young entrepreneur, I have two brands, Jack and Jerry and Burger Buzz, and both of those are cloud kitchen brands. So let me give you a bit of information about what exactly delivery-only restaurant is, what cloud kitchen is. So what we do is we work in collaboration with different outlets such as Zomato, Denso, Swiggy, and एक दो नए और आ रहे हैं. मैजिक पिन भी काफी वेल नोन है, तो हम उनके साथ भी काफी कोलैबोरेशन में अपना बिजनेस और आगे बढ़ाना चाहते हैं. So what we are trying to do here is, because of the pandemic, restaurants have completely shut off. So now the next big thing is that people are more into ordering food online than really going, sitting and dining in. Because आप जाते हैं, आप बैठते हैं, आप बैठ के खाना खाएंगे, तो obviously the infections might rise, the disease, the virus which is already on the widespread. Cases बढ़ रहे हैं, you read the newspaper, every front page newspaper is telling you कि 90,000 cases हो गए हैं Delhi में already. So the safest, most hygienic way to get good quality food right now is through cloud kitchen, is through delivery only. And that's what we are trying to expand on. So both of my brands, Jack and Jerry, which caters to, again, Italian cuisine of pizzas and wraps, and Burger Buzz, as the name suggests, burgers. So what we do is we give out high quality, highly hygienic, 100% hygiene maintained food items delivered to our customers through Zomato and Swiggy. And what I have personally noticed, लोग पहले बहुत ज़्यादा order करते थे, lockdown के time पे थोड़ा dip हुआ, but again it went up because people didn't have any other option. Then there was another news in the newspaper because of some delivery guy who was corona positive because he wasn't tested well. There was a certain number of cases which happened. Again, the business dipped. So I'm telling you what I have faced for the past 5 months, and we are still going strong. And on the contrary, we have actually expanded because business prospects are there. You just need to adapt to the new normal, what the customer wants, and how we can cater to them and generate business side by side. Because as a young entrepreneur, breaking even is very, very important for us. And also giving out good quality food. So we can't compromise on the quality, on the hygiene. So, we try to work with Zomato and Swiggy to promote the same outlook कि जो भी खाना सर्व किया जा रहा है delivery point of view से वो सारा का सारा hygienic है. And all our workers are tested every day, and they have already, submitted their corona test results with us. Then only we are allowing them to, work on the premises.
Good to hear an optimistic outlook there, Dr. Batra. Yes, go ahead.
Chandni, Did you
Yeah.
start these two brands in the pandemic or just before the pandemic started?
Okay, Anurag sir, I started Jack and Jerry a year back, and Burger Buzz I started during the pandemic because I want to grow. I can't just let one setback keep me. I need to move forward. I need to see and understand my customers what they want, and the need of the hour right now, according to my understanding, is that the restaurant industry is not working. Dine-ins are not working. The only thing which is working right now is cloud kitchen.
Okay. And Chandni, you were I met you because of an event, and you host
Yes.
events. So tell us, for our viewers and people who are watching, how did you make this pivot from being a host to being an F&B entrepreneur? How did this come about?
Well, Anurag sir, I've always been a people person. Stage is definitely my first love, and I love to host shows. But when I was hosting, one thing I recognized was eating good food. So I'm a foodie myself. I'm a Punjabi myself. So I wanted to have good quality food, tasty, delicious food, which was healthy at the same time. So if you order anything from any of my brands, the burgers, for instance, are made of whole wheat breads. They are healthy, they are fiber rich. So healthy junk food was the theme which I had in mind for my
Very
brand.
oxymoronish. At this point, let me go to Vikram.
Healthy junk food.
Yes, that's an oxymoron by itself.
Healthy fast food, maybe.
Yes.
Yes.
Quick food.
Yes.
Finger food, so to say. Vikram, coming to you, the last 6 months have tested the resolve of every entrepreneur. A lot of entrepreneurs, their businesses have seen revenues dipping, and if they were in the phase of raising capital, they have not been able to raise capital. Tell me first, have you seen any of the entrepreneurs around you benefiting from the economic stimulus? And second, how have you done in your own business?
Sure. So a couple of questions, if I got you right, Dr. Patra. One, of course, how the overall entrepreneur ecosystem sustained during these last 6 months, and how we as an enterprise has managed during the pandemic. So the first one, there are few industries who've done pretty well during the pandemic. So even the early stage startups have gotten great valuations, have gotten fundings, especially when we look at EdTech, when we look at microfinancing. These two sectors have done fantastically well, during these 6 months. But rest all sectors have been beaten right, left, center. You pick up anything right from, as Chandni said, that the entire hospitality sector. You talk about fintech. Aviation is gone for a long time. Pretty much these industries will take a lot longer time by the time they get back to pre-pandemic times. So yes, it has been a mixed experience, I'm sure, for all of us being entrepreneur and running our enterprises at different level, different industries, different scales. So it benefited some set of people, but majority of us have had a great learning, I would say, because this time has taught us a lot more than giving us a setback. I mean, that's the way I want to look at it. The kind of learning we've had in these 6 months is not going to come in easily to anyone.
What are these learnings? What have you learned in these 6 months that will hold you in good stead throughout your life?
Sure. So one biggest learning is to remain floated, sir. During these times.
Equanimous. Whether it's a high or a low. Be in a state of Buddha.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So when we go back to the later part of March and initial days of April, there was a lot of phobia, and then that phobia got into scariness, and then that scariness started melting down, and people started accepting the fact that this is going to be the new normal, and we all have to live within it, and we have to accept it. We have to learn to live with it and get back to the work. As you said, that what could be done to ensure that we all start getting back to the normals. I think the only thing is to roll up your sleeves, pull up your socks, and get back to the work zone. We can't get the economy rolling unless we get back to the work. So Chandni also picked it up rightly that more than the physical issue, it's a mental issue now. It's not a physical, although it is a physical issue, but more than the physical issue, I would say it's a mental issue. We have to accept this fact that it's a new normal for us. It's going to be part of our life for a long, long time.
Absolutely.
We'll not be surprised,
Yes, before I go to Swati, Vikram, another follow-up question for you. Like Chandni was speaking, of course, about the opportunities that she found in this adversity, be it cloud kitchens, be it, of course, promoting, dining out rather than dining in. Did you also seek any sort of opportunities in this adversity? Did you find any for your own venture? Have you been advising others? Have there been opportunities as well, Vikram?
That's right. So every the way it's an old saying, every challenge comes in with opportunities, and we being entrepreneurs, we have to hunt for those opportunities in such difficult times. Fortunately, Vasitam as a platform is a recruitment automation platform. And as soon as we get out of this pandemic and things start getting back to normal, you will see a lot of investment happening in the technology space, and not only within the technology space, but the automation, RPA. AI, machine learning is going to be something, wherein you'll see a lot of investment because people would want to do a lot more work with very little people. The social distancing, the lower budgets, and quicker delivery is something which every organization would want to aim for. So as soon as things start getting back to normal, we are hoping to get benefited out of this pandemic, and we've actually used these 6 months to get ready for that.
Okay. Yes, HR, the whole landscape of life has changed, of how we work has changed, what is the workplace has changed, and hence the future of work is in flux, if I may say. And whether it will be robots working, will be lesser number of people, you rightly said. We want to automate anything that can be automated. And pandemic has told us never say never, and do less, do more with less, Swati, again, you host events and you're now a virtual host, but you're also a mind trainer. What have you done to be able to pivot in this environment, to be able to make up for the loss of hosting events by doing something else that gives you both professional satisfaction and a livelihood? Swati Sharma?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Batra. First of all, I'd like to also congratulate NewsX and BW Business World for coming up with this idea, because we have all turned into netizens and screenagers, as Dr. Batra likes to call us. And wherever you see, people are saying, why aren't we discussing economy? Everyone is discussing, other topics, and there is very little talk of the economy, which is the most crucial factor. And coming back to Dr. Batra's question, so the first change, as you can see, that earlier I was an anchor, and see now I have added one more title, which is, one more title or one more job has come up in the market, which is the virtual host. So I've added that to my work profile. So that is one more thing that has come up in this lockdown period. We never knew that virtual industry would get such a good welcome. I think it's almost like the Zoom revolution. And I think BW Business World is a great example. You guys have not taken one day off, and you've not let your speakers take one day off in this. And second,
I keep saying from Doom we moved to Zoom.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. All the dialogues you need, you can get from Dr. Batra. And
I really mean that. Also the pandemic has provided us an opportunity to go within, think. Somebody like me who's always traveling, who's always meeting people. I've been at home mostly, and that's given me an opportunity to be more productive because I'm self-driven, so I don't need.
I can bet you've slept lesser.
No, that's I think I've mostly slept well, but yes, work has become boundaryless.
Yes,
you're tempted to do more, and that's where the role of discipline comes. The role of self-care comes.
Yeah.
Mental well-being. If I, as a leader of a company or a part of a family, can't look after myself, I cannot look after my family members in the company or in my family. So I think that's very important. I still have a long way to go. But coming back to you, Swati, tell us the pivot. Tell us, has your loss of earnings from hosting have been compensated either by the training, coaching work you do, or by virtual hosting, or you turned a content creator in early 2019, you started a YouTube channel. have you been able to compensate for the loss of income that came with hosting 15, 20 events a month?
Since we are talking about the impact of the lockdown, which is like outdoors getting strangled. So in that sense, I think speaking about the events would be more logical, because otherwise everything was anyways going on. So like these things are online things, like having a YouTube channel or getting YouTube revenue is very online. But I can assure you, even those revenues must have gotten affected, because when everybody is doing the same thing, obviously
brands went on a pause. Now
price
IPL
goes
is
down.
coming, now Diwali is coming, but brands took a pause in between. So the
They did.
revenues were impacted.
Yes, you would know.
While
You
the
would know.
viewership grew of news channels, including NewsX, but
I'm sure. Yes,
but the revenues didn't grow in proportion. So you're
Exactly.
absolutely right about that.
Because of advertising,
Exactly. So
etc.,
like
yes.
more content means that everything gets divided in more number of people. And moreover, as far the outdoor events is concerned, it came to a halt. I don't know how people are able to keep up this smiling face. I can tell you that behind the strong like front that the whole event industry is keeping, we are pretty. I mean, it's not a rosy picture behind the scene.
Oh, definitely.
I don't know people's.
Are there revenue models though that have opened up for the event space? Through these virtual shows that we've been seeing, virtual events, virtual hosting, as you were talking about as well, Swati.
Uday, I will call it a good a good platform to use the time and the talent of the industry, but it's still a very small group, a very elite group. The production team, the laborers, the decorators, the hand workers, a lot of people are not getting included in this virtual event.
Yeah.
We are just creating setups, and even these setups are 60,000-70,000. But like the major job market is definitely completely shut down.
And Uday, you know that the event economy entails hospitality. We would fly to another city, we'd live in a
The
hotel,
caterers.
we'll buy food, we'll serve food at the event. And
Taxis,
Yeah.
talk about the fabricators
transportation.
who put up the physical, backdrop, so on and so forth. All that is gone. Swati and Chandni, I want to ask you, like
Yes,
the weddings
sir.
have been happening with 50 people
Yeah.
and with all the precautions, do you think the events should be brought back with the same precaution? Maybe 50 people allowed, 60 people allowed, maybe 100 people, with all the social distancing norms and sanitization and masks. What's your view?
Please. I would beg on my knees. The government needs to give us the regulation and let us go back to work. Tell us, okay, keep a place which has which can accommodate 200 people, but keep only 100 people. Something like that.
80 people be
People
are on
are
the side
like,
of caution. Yeah, clearly.
Yes,
And now the
give us
metros
the
opened in Delhi.
precautions.
Of course, with a lot of, the metros opened in Delhi with a lot of riders and a lot of caution. The hotels opened in Delhi 2 weeks back. So clearly, I think it's time to open up events in a limited way.
Yes.
There, I say it is also time. If a certain airlines can do 100 flights into India, why should we not allow our airlines to fly?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
There are so many contradictions in the policies that are being given to people. In some industries something else is happening, in some, and when it's for their own political purpose, everything.
I think Chandni also wants to come in. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to bring in a few of my experience points here, which I have experienced recently. I've hosted a wedding of 50 people in the last week of June, and as well as in the first week of September. Actually, 2 days back, I hosted a private gig where, they had invited around 50-60 people as guests, and everything was done very meticulously. The masks were provided, the sanitizers were kept on each and every table, the waiters who were serving food were wearing masks, wearing gloves, following all the rules and regulations which have been laid down for a safe and secure event. But what I personally noticed in private events / weddings was the guests were not maintaining the rules and regulations. Everybody else, be it the event people, be it the artists, be it the entertainers on stage, be it the servers, the waiters, the caterers, everybody was following the rules and regulations, but not the guest. When the music started playing and, the DJs rolling back to back, tracks, everybody, those 50 people are there on the dance floor, dancing together and, taking off their
No social
masks
distancing,
and,
right.
dancing along with the mask in the air. So I think this has to be understood at the, individual level, that we need to be safe. Even if we are attending a wedding event, function, we need to maintain a social distance with our relatives.
Dr. Batra, which really, in your view, are the sectors that have been most affected in the last few months, and which really perhaps will require some sort of focus and attention, maybe next budget or whenever the next time the government decides to announce some measures? You were speaking about the events industry. You've also mentioned the aviation industry. Which are the sectors which have been hit the hardest, in your opinion, Dr. Batra, and still are being hit?
Uday, today we are talking in the backdrop. The KV Kamath committee has given, along with its 3 members, has given a report about the resolution framework for COVID-19 related stress. I'm talking of the business stress. What it has done, it has looked at 26 industries. So there is no cookie cutter approach. You can't treat one industry, as you rightly asked, about specific industry. Now, the industries, we clearly talk about hotels. Not many people are going to hotels. Not enough, okay, for it to keep going. Not enough events are happening. Not enough F&B is happening. So that's one. Second is airlines. Third is QSR, the huge job losses in the QSR industry. Fourth, dare I say, schools. A lot of parents have not given the fees of students. Rightly, wrongly, I'm not getting into that. But the fact that a lot of schools which are not that financially strong. Fifth, it's a huge segment is of security guards. Today, technology has taken over security guarding, and in a lot of installations, the first thing that the cost cutting has impacted is security guards. Though in some places it has been compensated by security guards today who are doing screening, they're taking your temperature. So they've become much more respectable and there is a need. Fifth is a very big segment, which is the events industry. And I'm not taking hospitality. And last but not the least, you would never imagine that this sector would have taken a hit, is the healthcare sector. The organized healthcare sector, according to a FICCI report, has lost $2.5 billion. And I'm not counting the neighborhood GPs. I live in Defense Colony and there is Dr. Bajaj I go to when I have fever. I mean, I haven't gone to him. Luckily, I haven't had fever.
True.
But, what
just COVID patients, What about the other health services?
So I could go on. The
Other
only industries that have done
cinemas also.
Of course, cinemas are shut and doesn't look like before October they will open up. The movie industry, our latest cover of Business World, I'm on Uday on NewsX, I'm plugging it, is about the cinema industry. It's how cinema industry lost money and OTT could have gained, but has gained in viewership, not in revenues. So this is the cover of the Business World. So you're clear. But let me tell you some of the industries that have done really well. One is technology. So devices, people are buying more phones. Access has become very important. Laptops, accessories with it, camera. So those, of course, food is a big, kind of a big favorite. We are all ordering food. We're eating at home, essential. And
you're cooking a lot.
More inquiry for insurance. But the transactions in insurance haven't happened.
True.
So the number of queries for health insurance has gone up.
True.
The number of queries for insurance has gone up. But the transactions or buying a policy in insurance hasn't happened. In fact, it has degrown. But there is a new consciousness around health insurance, around well-being. And there I say, again, Swati talked about mental well-being. We have a paucity of mental health experts to take care of our population. People are dealing with stress, anxiety, they have an uncertain future in some cases. So really, the mental well-being domain, and I don't look at it as an industry. It's a service. It's like, it's a good thing you do for people. I mean, if you charge for it, that's okay. There's nothing wrong in it. It's a profession. But the fact is we need more mental health practitioners. This pandemic has shown us 5 things, and I wrote a piece on it. 1, less is more. Second, never say never.
Yeah.
Third, mental well-being is more important than physical well-being.
Yes.
It's been proven that a lot of COVID patients who believed they could be better actually came out better and came out of COVID.
I think it's very interconnected,
Yes.
because
And fourth, savings mattered. For the first time, dare I say, in the last 6 months, a lot of Indians would have saved because they're not traveling, they're not eating out, they're not splurging on non-essential. And last but not the least, you need to reskill yourself. Whatever profession you are in, you need to find a new skill that tops up your skill, or find a new profession that gives you an additional income. So these are my 5 top learnings from COVID.
Now, Swati, of course, apart from being a host, and you're also of course, a mind trainer. Yes. So I want now you to step into your mind coach role. There are a lot of entrepreneurs and of course corporate voices hearing the show as well today, and they have been through the lockdown when we've been, of course, telecasting literally every day. What would be your advice, as a mind trainer, mind coach? What would be your words of wisdom, words of positivity, words to cheer people up, whose spirits may be low at this time, who may be thinking of shutting their businesses, who are worried about how to make ends meet, who are wondering when this light will come at the end of the tunnel? What would you like to say to them?
Uday, even though I have done the course and I teach people about mind training, I must acknowledge that this is overwhelming for all. Like even the people who are training and even the people who are teaching all these optimistic ideas. So at the end of the day, the thing that we always have been talking about, even before such a pandemic hit, is that the importance of your mental health, the importance of investing time and money into yourself, the importance of investing in getting to know about ways to grow yourself internally. Then when you're internally strong, then you can face a lot of problems, a lot of challenges in life. So at least now that you've been stopped, halted, by force. So at least now focus on, doing courses or reading material that will make you more knowledgeable about the machinery that makes you work, which is like people have the least amount of knowledge about the way our mind works. And, we get held up into patterns, into negative patterns, and they just spiral us down. So we take a mole and then we make a mountain out of it. Now we already have a mountain in front of us. So imagine what people will be doing to themselves. We torture ourselves because of the lack of knowledge of how the mind works. So I would, to all those people who are out there and who are feeling a little low, first of all, obviously you're not alone. Everyone is going through it. So this is not your personal failure. It's a challenge we are all facing together. Have a support system. Be close to your support system, and if you have to invest in a counselor, if you have to invest in a mind trainer, if you have to invest in somebody who coaches you to a point of good, healthy mindset, do it. It's going to be worth it. Don't think twice about it. Have your value for money, do your basic research, but do it. These things help you in such challenges, and you will bounce back stronger for sure.
Okay. Let's open that now to some bigger questions. Dr. Batra, if you'd like to take over.
Thank you so much. Swati, you're right. We all have to deal with demons, uncertainty, self-doubt. Sometimes we all are overwhelmed. We are humans, we are not robots, so we will have emotion. The trick is to believe that the future will be better than now, to do everything within your power to be able to live well, and living well has its own definition. But let me ask all three of you, and let me start with Vikram first. Vikram, you heard the other 2 panelists. Tell us, if we talk to Vikram in 6 to 12 months from now, what would have Vikram achieved in his venture? And second is, if you had to make one change in your venture that would kind of propel you into a different league, what would that be? Both are related questions.
Sure, sir. Before I jump onto your question, I think I'd like to add to what Swati said. Swati, we all agree that mental health is very, very important for all of us. But in a country like India, the acceptance of mental health is somehow missing largely. So rather than telling people that you should go and seek mental help, that awareness that there is a term called mental health, there is a term
Indeed.
called mentally being well.
Yes, we need to
Seems to
normalize this. We need to talk about this. Maybe we can have a segment for this.
That seem to be completely missing
Yes.
in a culture, in a society, and that needs to be corrected before we actually get into something else, right? Yeah, so that's point number one. Point number two, going back to Dr. Batra's questions, in about 6 to 12 months, we are certainly looking forward to a bright future. Our plans are to be we wanted to start monetizing around March, April for our new venture, being an early stage startup, which hasn't happened thanks to pandemic. And now I think we are all set. So in about a month or so, we'll start monetizing. And the goal is in about 6 to 12 months, India as a geography has to be operationally profitable. And then we are also looking at global expansion. So we have rest of the Asia Pacific and US as 2 additional geographies, which we are aiming to hop on to in about 9 to 18 months from now onwards. The next one question you asked, what we would have done differently if we had a choice to
One
do
pivot,
that.
one orbit change maneuver.
Sir, we can't hear you. No.
Can you hear me now?
I can. We
Yes.
can.
I can hear you.
Maybe Vikram has.
Go on, Vikram. Go on.
Vikram, go on. Please go ahead. Okay, I think we've just lost him there. Chandni, let's get you in here. Vikram, are you able to hear me now? Okay.
Hello?
Not quite. Chandni, why don't you come in here on your views on mental well-being as well. It's been a tough time, as you said, for your industry, but yet you remain very optimistic.
Yes.
Looking for the positives. But how do you cheer up your colleagues? And what are your views on this mental well-being question before we also move to certain other learnings of yours from the last few months?
Thank you for the question. I would just like to say that these 6 months have been really harsh for each and every one of us. If we talk about people who are middle class, who are upper middle class, or the poorest of the poor, we all are suffering the same cause. And the stress that it has on us is going to take a toll on us. So it's very important that we practice meditation daily and indulge ourselves in different yoga asanas, which I have been doing. I'm a fitness person, and I personally believe, not just because I'm an anchor and I really need to look good when I'm presenting on stage, but it's a lifestyle. Working out every day for at least 30 minutes or meditating for 30 minutes really gives you that peace of mind which makes your chakras aligned and helps you think straight and think in a positive manner where you can actually self-realize that how you can discipline yourself and change this situation, this worse kind of situation, towards your well-being and to your advantage. So I would just suggest to everyone who is facing a mental health issue, if it's really affecting you a lot and you feel this is because of this you're feeling really low, then talk to a friend. Don't just keep it inside you. Talk to a friend and meditate, do yoga, work out, discipline yourself, and change it around. You can only change your life. Nobody else can do it for you. You can watch any number of motivational videos online or listen to podcasts. It's not gonna help unless the self-realization comes from within.
In this point, I would like to add that
And Chandni,
doing too
I'm
much
very worried
yourself.
about you now. I'm very worried.
Doing
I
too
thought
much.
you were very young. You talk like a 6-year-old.
No, like if you doing too much yourself may overwhelm you. So that's where I say that sometimes your friends don't know how to handle you. Sometimes they're busy handling themselves. So it's okay to go and reach out a professional. And that's where we need to make this normal.
Yeah.
We need to normalize the fact that you go to a trainer, you go to a coach, or you go to somebody.
Okay. Let me go back to Vikram if he can hear me now. Vikram, if you're
I'm sorry, yeah, I can, yeah. I'm sorry, I had some technical glitch, sir.
Yes, go ahead. You were completing your point before we lost you.
Yeah, so second question, I think I was completing my second question for Dr. Batra. Yeah, if I could do something differently for a venture, I think we would have saved some more money. We invested heavily, I think, being an early stage startup. Most of the entrepreneurs make a mistake of running a little too fast And that's what we did in 2019. So I would have saved some more money to invest some more in technology and being ready for monetization during this time. That's something which we would have done if I had a choice.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to ask you now, Chandni, because you were speaking about the restaurant industry earlier. When we're seeing restaurants now be allowed to open, bars are also opening up in certain parts of the country, including the national capital. When do you though imagine things are going to be as they were? Right now, as you're saying, people are beginning to order quite a lot. Let's hope that trend continues, because that obviously is good revenue coming in for the restaurant industry. But what about people going back to party to dine out? When do you really see that happening?
To be really honest, I don't see that happening anytime soon. It's at least going to take a year for people to really go back to that normal stage of, really enjoying the pleasures of dining in a restaurant and, getting serviced. Right now, even if people are coming in, the number of people who are open to, visiting malls or food courts or restaurants is very less, because the fear of the virus spreading is still there in the minds of people. So I personally feel the cloud kitchen industry is going to grow more. More brands are going to come, and have myself seen brands like ITC More and big five-star hotels also, collaborating with Zomato and Swiggy to, start their delivery services through them. So this is the next thing. I think cloud kitchen, along with the advancements in the field of technology and the apps which are coming, if we talk about Zomato, Swiggy, Denso, it's growing. It's slowly growing, and I see growth in this industry for sure. And personally, as a young entrepreneur, I would want to expand with more brands. Have more kitchens in more areas where we are able to deliver to more people on a more timely fashion. So I would rather invest. If I have to do an investment right now, I would just invest in two things in cloud kitchen. First would be expansion, trying to get more brands which cater different kinds of food cuisines to the people. And second, I would be investing in marketing. Marketing, not just on social media, but on these particular apps also. Because if a person wants to order, वो Instagram या Facebook पे जाके उस particular brand का page check out नहीं करेंगे कि menu क्या है. They will actually go on Zomato, see the banner ads, the promo codes, the discounts, the offers, which one particular brand is giving out on that particular app to attract more customers and giving them a surety of 100% hygiene. So definitely marketing in that sense, not on social media, and expansion of giving more variety of food to the customers.
Right.
Thank you so much, Swati, Chandni, and Vikram. I want to ask you two questions. One, when you see entrepreneurs around yourself, you see the environment, when do you see the Indian business and economy coming back? Do you see it coming back in 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months? And second, have you seen entrepreneurs benefiting from the package that has been announced? Have you seen anyone benefiting? Vikram, first you.
Sure, sir. Benefiting for sure not. I don't think we have a framework which supports entrepreneurship in a country. Forget about framework, government framework. Being an entrepreneur used to be a taboo about 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. People used to say, "Arey business karta hai, yaar, shaadi kaise hogi iski?" So that acceptability has started coming in now, that being an entrepreneur is a great thing. It's not easy for people to be an entrepreneur. It's a big responsibility. And you are not just doing something, you're also creating a lot of jobs while you are creating an empire. So yes, the framework is missing, which could have supported the entrepreneurship, therefore no benefit. In terms of how people have responded to this, I think it has been a mixed experience. A lot of people have shown their brave faces and have remained positive about the outcome and are looking forward to better future, are looking forward to get back to the job in times to come. So it's been a mixed experience for all of us. But I would say majority of us are positive. Majority of us are looking forward to get back to the job and get rolling. In terms of we getting back to pre-COVID time in terms of economy, I would say anything between 12 to 18 months is going to be a safe bet to say that we are going to be back to those times. And if we all get back to work sooner, it may be sooner. But I think there is a phobia. We've been talking about mental health.
There's a fear factor. So
Yeah,
the right
it's
answer
all
is
meant.
possibly 6 to 12 months after there is a COVID vaccine or
And
COVID.
I think we need a
Correct.
mental
It's variable
segment.
in that time. Yes, Swati.
Yeah.
When do you
Yeah, I
think-
think we need a segment where we talk about the, psychological things about, about how to step out of this fear psychosis also. Now,
Even if we get vaccine, in a country like India where you have 1.25 billion people, ensuring vaccine reaching out to all of us is a humongous task.
and people may
Practically, it
have
is not.
phobia. People may have phobia of taking the vaccine also. Some people will be like,
Hoga
I'm
nahi,
fine.
sir, it's mental. We have to get back to work.
We'll
Yes.
cross the bridge when we get there, but at this point,
Yes.
I'd request
Yes.
two straight answers to my
Yes.
questions. One,
I think,
Swati, when do you think the economy will be back? 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months?
I think to get back to the usual economy that it used to be before, I think 2 years would be a decent time. I'm taking a little bit of buffer because I am incorporating that input of people's psychology, consumer psychology coming back and bouncing back, and of course regulations are changing, so getting all that back. So I think 2 years would be a good time for like getting back to the previous. But getting back, I think. In next 3-4 months, we should start seeing more events happening. I already have inquiries of open outdoor events with those 50-100 people. There, people are planning those events in December, and then the more and more they happen, the more and more people will be like, we are tired of this indoor life and we want to like start living again.
And Swati, have you seen anybody around you who's an entrepreneur benefiting from the economic stimulus?
The short answer would be no.
Okay. Final word, Chandni.
Yes, sir.
When do you think the economy will be back? In 6 months, 12 months, 18 months?
I personally think it's going to be back in 18 months, provided that the vaccine is out there in the
18
market. There
months.
has been news. 18
Yeah,
months.
Uday is
Some
the most
sort of recovery, some sort
youngest
of
panel
positive sentiment.
on our show, and it is the most pessimistic panel.
Yeah.
Maybe they know something.
I think the most realistic. I mean, the situation is such. I mean, it's
No, but some sort of
not
positive.
dancing in the rain.
Let's ask you, when do you see signs of recovery? The positive outlook. When do you think it will begin by?
recovery has already started, of course.
2 months? Oh, it's
Yes,
already
it has
started.
already
Yes, it's
started.
already started. Chandni has done an event, and
Yes, I did an event 2 days
Yes.
back. It
But
started
yes.
already.
Diwali,
People
post-Diwali-
are doing shows.
Diwali, do you see spending picking up, Vikram?
hopefully.
That's actually looking at the current numbers. The answer is no. But being positive, I would give it about 4 to 6 weeks. We should have some positive activity happening.
See,
So
I
if we
must
are
give
here,
credit to
I would.
people.
Yeah.
I must give credit to people that the moment unlock happened, people didn't stay didn't take too much time in stepping out and starting to buy. And even like the moment online sales opened up, I myself started ordering on online platforms like Myntra and Amazon.
Yeah.
So like people have like the consumers have started consuming to some extent. Even Zomato, like it was not like the online platforms, food and all, like just Chandni was sharing with us. So I think people are somewhere done with it. They have reached their saturation point of being too cautious. So they are learning to balance cautious with living life, because you have to live.
Okay, point taken. Chandni,
Yes.
you also want to give your take on when some sort of positive signs will start coming?
I think the positive signs are already there. Markets have already opened up. Malls have already opened up. The sales have started. It's just the fear is in the mind of people. Now, how long it takes for the fear to go away and people to, really be outgoing and get the things, That
disagree
depends
with
on
that.
person to person.
I would disagree with. I think it's the regulations that are unclear. Once people can get the regulations to be more clear, and I'm also like surprised why the government officials are not pushing face shields as much as face masks, because face mask everybody cannot wear. With people who are having breathing difficulties, they might not be able to step out with face masks for 8 hours, you know, and we have to consider that. Means, are you making them healthier or are you making them more ill? So maybe pushing face shields, maybe if we see more public figures using face shields, because at least you can breathe properly in it, then people will step out longer, and that will also help economy when you are able to step out for a longer period of time.
Okay, well, point taken. Thank you all so much for joining us today on this edition of NewsX Business World Panels on the Indian Economy, and wish you all the very best. Thanks for being with us. Thanks to
Thank
Dr.
you so
Batra
much.
as always as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having
Thank you
us.
all. Thank you there. Thank you, NewsX.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.